Hello, dear boys. Let us continue the remaining part of your social and political life, that is Civics Class 6, second chapter. The name of the chapter is Diversity and Discrimination. Boys, so far we have learned about difference and prejudice. Prejudice means a strong, unreasonable feeling of not trusting somebody, especially when it is based on her race, religion, or sex. Then creating stereotypes. Stereotypes means a fixed idea about a particular type of person, which is not often true in reality. Boys, let us see page number 17, inequality and discrimination. We have to start from here. Inequality and discrimination. Discrimination happens when people act on their prejudices or stereotypes. What are these prejudices and stereotypes? I already told you earlier, boys. So it happened when people act on their these prejudices and stereotypes. Means this discrimination it happens. If you do something to put other people down, if you stop them from taking part in certain activities and taking up jobs, or stop them from living in certain neighborhoods, prevent them from taking water from the same well or hand pump, or not allow them to drink tea in the same cups or glasses as others, you are discriminating against them. That means you are doing that means look down to them. So this is how that means we used to discriminate others, or people they used to discriminate others. Boys, again I'm telling you, such things should not be done. Discrimination can take place because of several reasons. So discrimination it can take place because of different reasons. Many reasons are there. You probably recall from the previous chapter, that is chapter number 1, in which you have learned that Shamir Ek and Shamir Do were different from each other in many ways. The differences between Shamir Ek and Shamir Do you find one belongs to Hindu community, another to Islam community or Muslim community. One is literate, another is illiterate. So in this way, different that means you find between these two Shamir in chapter number 1. They are different in many ways. For example, they belong to different religions. This is an aspect of diversity. This is an way of diversity, boys. Different. However, this diversity can also be a source of discrimination, as they are not belonging to the same religion, same community. So, this is what here, this is an aspect of diversity. However, this diversity can also be a source of discrimination. It can lead to discriminate. Groups of people who may speak a certain language, follow a particular religion, live in specific regions, etc. Groups of people who may speak a certain language means whose language is not same with other, and follow a particular religion, live in specific regions, etc. Based on that, also discrimination it arises. May be discriminated against as their customs or practices may be seen as inferior. So, in this way, uh, it may be discriminated against as their customs or practices may be seen as inferior. In such a way, we can see it is unjust, boys. To discriminate others like this, it is unjust. It should not be allowed in the society. Another difference between the two Shamis was in their economic backgrounds. So another difference we find in chapter number 1 between these two Shamis was in their economic backgrounds. One belongs to rich family, another in poor family. Shamir, though, was poor. This difference, as you have read earlier, is not a form of diversity but of inequality. So, as Samir, though he was poor, this difference, as you have read earlier, it is not a form of diversity but of inequality. They are not equal. People who are poor do not have the resources or the money to meet their basic needs of food. Basically, you have seen people who are generally poor, they do not have the resources, different means of their earning or the money in order to meet their daily needs of food, clothing, and shelter, etc. They experience discrimination in offices, in hospitals, schools, etc., where they are treated badly because they are poor. It is because of their poorness they experience discrimination even in offices, in hospitals, in schools, etc. And as a result of their poorness, they are treated badly. Some people may experience both kinds of discrimination. They are poor and they belong to groups whose culture is not valued. So some people they may experience both kinds of discrimination. They are one way they are poor and another way their culture is not valued. They are not, that means majority in group. Tribals, some religious group and even particular regions are discriminated against for one or more of these reasons. So tribal communities and some religious groups and even particular regions, particular areas where they are living, they are discriminated against for one or more of these reasons. Because of one or more, that means in one or more ways they are used to discriminated by the people. In the following section, we will look at how a famous Indian was discriminated against. So, boys, in the following section, we will find that and find how a famous Indian was discriminated against. This will help us understand the ways in which caste was used to discriminate against large numbers of people. So this will help us in order to understand the ways in which caste, different caste, was used to discriminate against large numbers of people. Boys, let us see at the left side margin of the book. A common stereotype about Muslims is that they are not interested in educating girls and therefore do not send girls to school. However, studies have now shown that poverty amongst Muslims is an important reason why Muslim girls do not attend school or drop out from school after a few years. Means it is because of their poorness among the Muslim community. They the parents cannot afford money for their education. That's why Sometimes they do not send their children in the school, or they used to take out their children from school after a few years. Wherever effort has been made to reach education to the poor, there the Muslim community has shown an interest in sending their girls to school. Wherever that means opportunity has been made in order to reach education to those poor people, their Muslim community has shown their keen interest in sending their girls to school. For example, in the state of Kerala, the distance between the school and the home is not much. There is a good government bus service that helps teachers reach schools in rural areas, and over 60% of the teachers are women. These factors have helped children from poorer families, including Muslim girls, attend school in much larger numbers. So, see the reasons behind why that means uh, Kerala, they are in advance. And you must remember, children, Kerala is the most literate state in India. In other states where such efforts have not been made, children from poorer families, whether Muslim, tribal, or so called lower caste, find it difficult to attend school. So, in other states where that means this type of efforts, opportunities have not been met, children from poorer families, whether Muslim, tribal, or so called the lower caste people, find it difficult in order to go to school for education. Therefore, poverty, not religion, is the cause for non attendance of Muslim girls in school. So, underline this. That means poverty, not religion, is the cause, is the reason for non attendance of Muslim girls in school. Now, let us continue the next paragraph on being discriminated against. People are engaged in different kinds of work like teaching, carpentry, pottery, weaving, fishing, farming, etc. to earn a livelihood. In order to survive their life, people they are engaged in different kinds of works such as teaching, carpentry work, pottery, pot making, weaving, fishing, farming, etc. However, certain kinds of work are valued more than others. Certain works are there which are valued more than others' work. Activities like cleaning, washing, cutting hair, picking garbage are seen as tasks that are of less value, and people who do this work are seen as dirty or impure. Boys, activities like cleaning means our street, gullies, other places, washing, cutting hair, picking garbage are seen as tasks that are of less value, and people who do this work are seen as dirty or impure. People think that works are impure or dirty. This belief is an important aspect of the caste system. So it is an important aspect of caste system. In the caste system, communities or groups of people were placed in a sort of ladder where each caste was either above or below the other. In the caste system, communities or groups of people they were placed in a short ladder where each of the caste was either above caste people or below the other. Those who place themselves at the top of this ladder call themselves upper caste. So, those who are at the top of this ladder means here stair, they are called themselves upper caste and show themselves as superior. So that means themselves they are superior than other caste. The groups who were placed at the bottom of the ladder were seen as unworthy and called untouchables. Okay, in the society we find the groups who were placed at the bottom of the ladder, they were seen as unworthy. Okay, unworthy means not deserving respect. People, it's not that means giving any respect, and they are called untouchables. Oh, it is used to say, "Hey, don't touch this person, he belongs to lower caste, this and that." Caste rules were set which did not allow the so called untouchables. Caste rules were set which did not allow the so called untouchables to take on work other than what they were meant to do. For example, some groups were forced to pick garbage and remove dead animals from the village. As example, some groups they were bound. People make them bound in order to pick garbage and remove dead animals from the village. But they were not allowed to enter the homes of upper castes or take water from the village well or even enter temples. They were forced to collect garbage and pick that means dead bodies from villages, dead animals from villages, but they were not allowed in order to enter the homes of the upper caste or take water from the village well from where everyone is collecting water, or even they were not allowed to enter in temples also. Their children could not sit near uh, their children could not sit next to children of other caste in school. So their children they could not sit next to children of other caste in school. Thus upper caste acted in ways I mean acted in ways which did not give the so-called untouchables the same rights as they enjoyed. So in this way the upper caste they acted in such a way in which they did not give the so-called untouchables the same rights, whatever they are enjoying. Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar, one of the greatest leaders of India, shares his first experience of caste-based discrimination. So, Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar, he was one of the greatest leaders of India. He was the founder of our Indian Constitution. He made the Indian Constitution. He shares his first experience and he belongs to lower caste person. Shares his first experience to caste-based discrimination which took place in 1901 when he was just 9 years old. He had gone with his brothers and cousins to meet his father in Koregaon, which is now in Maharashtra. Here's an incident, boys, about Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar, which we are going to learn. So, he was one of the greatest leaders of our country who shares his first experience of caste based discrimination. He himself, that means he faced that. He explained, and it was took place in 1901 when he was just 9 years of his age. He had gone with his brothers and cousins in order to meet his father in Koregaon, which is now in Maharashtra. Koregaon, that means it is in Maharashtra. So, boss, at the left side of your book, some yellowish, that means one box which we skip, you read it yourself, you will get, that means the idea of schedule caste, this thing. So what happened, let us see, is Bhimrao Ambedkar, he went to meet his father in Koregaon, which is now in Maharashtra. Long did we wait, but no one turned up. So he himself he said, we wait there for a long time, but no one turned up. An hour elapsed means passed, an hour passed, and the station master came to inquire. Station master he came and asked, why are we there? He asked us for our tickets. We showed them to him. He asked us why we tarried. Tarried means stood longer than intended. We told him that we were bound for Koregaon and that we were waiting for father or his servant to come, but that neither had turned up and that we did not know how to reach Koregaon. So they feel confused how to reach there in Koregaon as no one turned up there. We were well dressed children. From our dress or talk, no one could make out that we were children of the untouchables. So they were dressed nicely in a proper dress. So from their dress, nobody can make understand that they were the children of untouchables. Indeed, the station master was quite sure we were Brahmin children and was extremely touched at the plight in which he found us. So, indeed, what happened? The station master he was quite sure that we belongs to Brahmin community. We were the children of Brahmin community and was extremely the station master he was extremely touched at the plight in which he found us. As is usual among the Hindus, the station master asked us who we were. Now the station master asks them who are they. Without a moment's thought, I blurted out that we were Mahars. So, without passing any time, promptly, Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar he replied that they were Mahar. Mahar means boys. See here, Mahar is one of the communities which were treated as untouchables in the Bombay Presidency. So they belongs to untouchable community in Bombay Presidency. He was stunned. Stunned means so shocked as he heard earlier. He was thinking that means belongs to Brahmin community, but as the station master heard so, he shocked. His face underwent a sudden change. So his face it went a sudden change. They can see clearly that means on his face sudden changes it happened. We could see that he was overpowered by a strange feeling of repulsion. So repulsion means a feeling of disgust. So clearly Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar and the person who came with him, they saw that the station master was overpowered by a strange feeling of repulsion. He feel that means disgust on them. As soon as he heard my reply, he went away to his room and we stood where we were. As soon as he heard that means the reply of Ambedkar, station master went away to his room and we that means stood means Ambedkar and the person who was with him, they stood where they were. 15 to 20 minutes elapsed means passed. In this way 15 to 20 minutes passed. The sun was almost setting. Our father had not turned up, nor had he sent his servant. So their father did not reach there. Neither he reached there, nor he sent his servant there. And now the station master had also left us. Now station master also left them. We were quite bewildered, and the joy and happiness which we felt at the beginning of the journey gave way to a feeling of extreme sadness. Bewildered means bewildered it me. Okay, bewildered. That means puzzled boys. So they were quite puzzled here, and their joy and happiness which they have earlier, which they felt at the beginning of the journey, gave way to the feeling of extreme sadness. Now they began to feel sadness. After half an hour, the station master returned and asked us what we proposed to do. So after passing half an hour, the station master he is there again and asked them what they were proposed to do. We said that if we could get a bullock cart on hire, we would go to Koregaon, and if it was not very far, we would like to start straightway. So in the reply, they said that if they could manage a bullock cart on hire, then they would go to Koregaon. If it was not very far, they would like to start their journey straightway. There were many bullock carts plying for hire, so people used to hire bullock carts. Many bullock carts were there. But my reply to the station master that we were Mahars had gone round among the cartmen, and not one of them was prepared to suffer being polluted and to demean himself carrying passengers of untouchable classes. But my reply of B.R. Ambedkar to the station master that we were belongs to Mahar family had gone round among the cartmen, and not one of them was prepared. No one was ready there to carry them, to suffer being polluted and to demean. Demean means here cause a severe loss in the dignity of and respect for. That is called demean. Himself carrying passengers of the untouchable classes. We were prepared to pay double the fare, but we found that money did not work. So they were ready to give double charge, double fare. But then also they found that money did not work, means nobody was ready to carry them. It is because of they belongs to Mahar family. The station master who was negotiating on our behalf stood silent, not knowing what to do. So station master who was talking about to carry them with the owner of bullock cart, he stood in a quiet way, silent and not knowing what to do. Let's see this one. Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar. Who was he? His, that means biography. It has given nicely here, boys. Let us see. Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar is considered the father of the Indian Constitution. He was the father of the Indian Constitution, I already told you, and is also the best known leader of the Dalits. Dalits means belongs to undercaste people or low caste people. Dr. Ambedkar fought for the rights of the Dalit community. He was born into a Mahar caste which was considered untouchable. Mahar caste where belongs to untouchable community. The Mahars were poor, owned no land, and children born to them also had to do the work their parents did. So the Mahar were poor. They do not have any land, and children born to them also had to do whatever the works done by their parents. They lived in spaces outside the main village and were not allowed into the village. So, see, uh, they lived in open areas outside the main village and they were not allowed even to enter, allowed to stay inside the village. Dr. Ambedkar was the first person from his caste who completed his college education and went to England to become a lawyer. So, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the founder of our Indian Constitution or the father of our Indian Constitution, was the first person from his caste who has completed his college education and went to England to become lawyer. He encouraged Dalits to send their children to school and college, and he encouraged Dalits people to send their children to school and colleges for education. He also urged Dalits to take on different kinds of government jobs in order to move out of the caste system, in order to come out from caste system. He advised Dalits, he told Dalits to take on different kinds of government jobs. He led many efforts of Dalits to gain entry into temples. So he tried hard, that means to allow Dalits in order to gain entry into temples. Later in life, he converted to Buddhism in his search for a religion that treated all members equally. Later in his life, he converted to Buddhism. In Buddhism, in his search for a religion that treated all members equally, everyone is equal in Buddhism. Dr. Ambedkar believed that Dalits must fight the caste system and work towards a society based on respect, not just for a few, but for all persons. So, Dr. Ambedkar, he believed that all Dalits, they must fight the caste system. They must stand against this caste system and they must work towards the progress of the society based on respect, not just for a few, but it should be for all persons. Imagine how difficult it would be if people could not move easily from one place to another. Now, children, imagine you yourself that how difficult it would be if people could not move easily from one place to another. How insulting and hurtful it is to have people move away, refuse to touch you, or allow you to drink water from the same source as they do. So, how painful it will be, how insulting and hurtful it is to have people move away and refuse to touch you or allow you in order to drink water from the same source as other also doing. This small incident shows how a simple task of going from one place to another in a cart was not available to the children, even though they could pay the money. So this is small incident which was happened to in the life of Ambedkar. It shows how a simple task of going from one place to another in a cart was not available to the children. Even though they could pay the money, they were ready to give double also. Then also that means they didn't get that opportunity. Got that opportunity. All the cartmen at the station refused to take the children. They acted in a discriminatory manner. Unfair discriminatory means unfair manner. That way, okay, to treat them. So clearly, as this story shows us, caste based discrimination is not only limited to preventing Dalits from undertaking certain economic activities, but it also denies them the respect and dignity given to others. So it is clearly shows us what it is clearly shows us how caste-based discrimination is not only limited to preventing Dalits from undertaking certain economic activities, but it also denies, it do not allow them to get the respect and dignity given to which are given to others. Striving for equality. The struggle for freedom from British rule also included within it the struggle of large groups of people who not only fought against the British but also fought to be treated more equally. Striving means make great efforts, okay, for equality. The struggle for freedom, for independence from British, in order to get free from the hand of British rule, also included within it the struggle of large groups of people who not only fought against the British but also fought to be treated more equally. Dalits, women, tribals, and peasants fought against the inequalities they experienced in their lives. So they fought, that means against the inequalities they experience in their lives, in their living standard. As pointed out earlier, many Dalits organized themselves to gain entry into temples. As pointed out earlier, many Dalits organized themselves in order to gain entry into temples. Women demanded that they should have as much a right to education as men did. Women, they demanded what they demand? They demanded that they should have as much a right to education like as men. Whatever men, that means opportunity they are getting. Women also should get the same power, same right. Peasants and tribals fought to release themselves from the grasp of the moneylender and the high interest they were charged. Uh, Peasants means a poor smallholder or agricultural, a laborer of low social status. So, and tribals fought in order to release themselves to get free from the control of the moneylender and the high interest which were charged by the moneylender. When India became a nation in 1947, our leaders too were concerned about the different kinds of inequalities that exist. Those who wrote the Constitution of India, a document that laid out the rules by which the nation would function, were aware of the ways in which discrimination had been practiced in our society and how people had struggled against this. Many leaders of these struggles, such as Dr. Ambedkar, had also fought for the rights of the Dalits. That means many leaders, such as Dr. Ambedkar, they had also fought for the rights of Dalits. So these leaders set out a vision and goals in the constitution to ensure that all the people of India were considered equal. So boys, these leaders, they set out a vision or a target in the constitution to ensure that all people of India were considered equal. All are equal. No one is high, no one is low. This equality of all persons is seen as a key value that unites us all as Indians. So, this equality of all persons is seen as a key value which brings unity among us, among we all the Indians. Everyone has equal rights and opportunities. So here everyone we have equal rights and equal opportunities. Untouchability is seen as a crime and has been legally abolished by law. Untouchability, in fact, boys, this is a crime, is seen as a crime, and it has legally abolished by law. Abolished means put an end. By law, that means it put an end. People are free to choose the kind of work they wish to do. Any work can be done by any person. They are free to do work. Government jobs are open to all people. In addition, the Constitution also placed responsibility on the government to take specific steps to realize this right to equality for poor and other such marginal communities. So, see here, government jobs are open to all people, everyone, whether belongs to say higher caste or lower caste, everyone can, that means, apply for the post. In addition, apart from that, the constitution also placed a responsibility on the government. That means it gives responsibility to the government in order to take specific steps, means special steps to realize this right to equality for poor and other such marginal communities. The writers of the Constitution also said that respect for diversity was a significant element in ensuring equality. So, the writers of the Constitution also said that respect for diversity, though that means different, though variety are there, but respect should be here, it was a significant element in ensuring equality. In order to bring equality, it is very meaningful. They feel that people must have the freedom to follow their religion, speak their language, celebrate their festivals, and express themselves freely. They felt what? That people, they must have the freeness to follow their religion according to their own choice. They can go for any religion. No one can oppose that. They can speak their language, they can celebrate their own festivals, and then they can express themselves freely. No one can arise any question here, no one can obstacles here them. They said that no one language, religion, or festival should become compulsory for all to follow. So it's said in our constitution, children, that no one language, religion, or festival, it should become compulsory for all. So no one can force here to follow any particular language, festivals here as compulsory. They said that the government must treat all religions equally. They said the government they must treat every religion as equal. Therefore, India became a secular country where people of different religions and faiths have the freedom to practice and follow their religion without any fear of discrimination. And that is why India became a secular country. Secular country means it is a country where every religions are treated equal and where people of different religions and faiths have the freedom to practice and follow their religion without any afraid of discrimination. This is seen as an important element of our unity. It is an important element of our unity that we all live together and respect one another. Though these ideals are enshrined means preserved in our constitution, this chapter points out that inequalities exist even today. So, but you see, in our constitution, in our Indian constitution, this chapter it points out that inequalities exist even today. Even today, we can see these inequalities. Equality is a value that we have to keep striving for and not something which will happen automatically. So, equality, it is a value that we have to keep striving means great efforts to achieve it, okay? To keep great efforts to achieve for and not something which will happen automatically. It will never happen automatically. People's struggle, people's struggles and positive actions by the government are necessary to make this a reality for all Indians. So, people's struggles, the struggle of people, and positive actions by the government, these are necessary to make this a reality for we all the Indians. That's up to here for today. All of you see you in the next class. Thank you all.